Clayton McMillan. This is Leif and Jack, and this is our DLL action plan. First we have the analysis. Looking over everything, customers don't use the automation tools or they really don't know how to. Many sellers are old school and are fearing to use our new technology, and they're stuck in their own ways more or less. Sellers spend too much time on non-selling tasks like admin, customer issues, and onboarding. Our sellers are spending way less time selling compared to everything else. And then across the teams, many sellers have too much workload and don't get much time to actually sell, do any type of real selling. So most of our sellers right now we're dealing with admin, customer issues, and onboarding. And we have many sellers that are old school and are afraid to use new technology. And then analysis continued.
So there's multiple methods to resolve the problems that we propose, that we will go into, that we broke into red and yellow boxes. And there's a need to add new salespeople to construction team, especially as we have a big the labor employee force of the company is aging out and ready to retire. It's important to bring in new people, and we created a process for that. And then the sales department wants more sales training for selling the services of the company, DLL's company, knowing how to use the technology, and also sales skills.
All right, so we're gonna get into our recommendations now. With those recommendations, we like to categorize everything. So the recommendations listed here in the red box are our top priorities we're really wanting to focus on right away, which is recruiting and technology, and / getting more focused on the future. The reason why that's really important is because when we have people start to leave the company, we need to make sure that we have new people who are already experienced with the tools, and we can start out a lot better. Additionally, we want to create a succession structure so that the people who are leaving are able to then pass on their knowledge to the new people. And additionally, create a sales automation specialist position so that we aren't going to see any issues with the tools, and we can catch any issues coming up as they go along. And then in our yellow box here, which is our secondary priorities, we want to start doing some customer onboarding to use the tools correctly, create a mandatory Salesforce adoption program, which is basically just making it you gotta use the tools, and mandatory meeting with the sales team, breaking down the value so they could realize all the time they could save, all the more money they can make, and the headaches they don't have to experience.
Yes.
And so next, breaking it down, recruiting, technology, focused future. So begin recruiting new people. Like I said, there's very many old school, and we need to train and get new people learning how to use the new tools, the new automation process. And then we need to inform the HR/hiring that the new hires must be proficient in Salesforce CRM tools. Once again, that's one of the biggest problems that we have right now is nobody's using automation tools, our sellers and customers themselves. So with that being said, when we are hiring, we need to put a train program or a trainee program in to where we're adopting it. So one-year training program for current employees who intend to retire. This would be good for their knowledge to pass on to our new trainees. And then also at the same time have the adoption of the tools, the automation tools, so now they're learning how to use the automation tools and also gaining prior knowledge from our old sellers.
And then if I could add on to that,
yeah.
A big thing would be bringing in that work culture that will push that innovative with technology. When we were talking to the people at DLL, that was one of the concerns is the work culture and how there's not that motivation. So with bringing new people, bringing in new work culture, bringing in a new environment in for progression and innovation. So, and then to create the sales automation specialist position to go deeper into this. With this new role, will help efficiently implement Salesforce tool usage, able to identify bottlenecks in DL automation systems and infer into them, and experts who is available to our sales team or questions. To go deeper into that, to be able to identify bottlenecks in DL automation systems and infer them into them. For example, that would be once we start to tell that workers aren't moving as fast or closing deals as much, or if there's a problem with the notes on the Salesforce. If those bottlenecks are decreasing profits, that's what this new position is meant to tackle directly.
Yeah, like this new person is able to ensure that throughout this process, that they continue to use the tools. This is like a monitor and then also a help and a guide for people. If they have any questions, they can contact this person and they'll be able to answer them right away instead of having to deal with lengthy calls with Salesforce. It's just easier process, and it makes sure that we continue to be as efficient as possible. Additionally, we're going to create a mandatory Salesforce adoption program. So this includes having mandatory objectives, putting people on track, incentive programs, to try to make sure everyone gets onto the program and it is required as well as not an option anymore. And we're going to break down why it's so important that they have to get onto this. And the advantages are it can improve communication, helps track activity, and can identify those bottlenecks.
And then next we have create an onboarding path for customers on how to use the automation tools. This includes instructions for the automation tools, built-in videos to show you how to work the tools, a training coach if wanted, and then also phone calls that help with onboarding process. So instead of calling the HR and all this and that, we'll have a separate line just for that. And the advantages of this, customers will get one-on-one help. Customers can adopt the tools easier when being walked through the process and not just being thrown into it with no help. And this can reduce phone calls and emails to customer service. This can make it more efficient, as now the customers are already having the learning process built into the program. So instead of our HR having to deal with more calls, with learning how to use our process, it'll just already be built into the program.
So, the breakdown to the sales team, the value of Salesforce tools. First, when we want to start off with host a mandatory training for the sales team, break down and understand. Actually, to go into mandatory, when we looked over the data charts, there's like 1 to 2% of employees that actually use the training systems. So pushing that to be mandatory to really understand the base of the company is to sell this cutting edge technology, that we can do more with that. Then in the meeting, we show how using Salesforce can reduce repetitive and undesired tasks, making it formulate, cater to the problems and the bottlenecks and how we need efficiency. And then provide an example showing improved time allocation, which will lead to further improvements and further efficiency so we can handle and DLL doesn't have problems or concerns going forward.
Alright, so now we're gonna get into the numbers a bit about how much is it gonna cost. So we have here the budget sheet, which breaks down what we expect all these changes to cost. So having that succession program set up with in the trainee system will probably cost around we project $1,200,000. The process of retiring and training managers, we project a cost $350,000. The integration of the systems will cost, we project like additional training, everything like that, $400,000. That includes like the new role that we're going to be implementing. Salesforce adoption training, compliance auditing, is projected to be $100,000. Value setting certification. This is like a program for people to take. So for everybody to get on that, it's going to probably cost around $200,000. It's projected. And using ads and stuff like that, and remember those videos and all that for our customers, so they understand that we have this new technology, and then also creating the videos so that when they hit us up, they can figure out how things work. That'll cost projected $500,000. So total estimated investment $3,250,000.
And then that comes back to the return on investment. So as the investment's pretty high, the return on investment is also very high. So right now, our sales revenue currently is at $910 million, and after the changes, it's projected to go to $2.71 billion. And then every hour recovered from admin, 0.12 new inside deals per month. And then every 10% of customer tech adoption increases 42 million annual revenue. And then The certification comfort expected, to improve competitive closure rate by 6 to 9%. And then, going on to our conclusions. This is our chart that, is our projected performance and revenue impact for the 2026, year.
So yeah, by implementing all of our programs, we'll see a whole bunch of improvements all across the board. For example, our average deals on reps per year is right now 6.8 deals per rep. We can double that to 12 to 14 deals per rep with a 85% to 106% improvement of where we currently are at after implementing this. And that leads to direct increases to our revenue and profit margins. So we expect to see a $690 million increase in revenue, which will lead to $167 million in profit gain. So for that cost of $3.2 million, we could see $165 million return. So we believe this is a worthwhile program.
Yeah. And then also going on to, basically one of our biggest problems, like I said, is we're having a problem with closing deals and sellers spending too much time not selling itself. So also we have an increase on the deal close acceleration. It's at currently 120. We're gonna drop it down to 75 to 90. So it's gonna be 25 to 35% faster, which will give our sellers 20 more time to sell. And then also our, our Salesforce and our accurate usage will go up to 75% higher, which is also huge for our sellers. Like I said, this is gonna completely drop down the time of our sellers spending in the admin onboarding process, just because now they're able to close deals up to 35% faster, which will give them a lot more time to make more sales.
And we also project that, part of the issue is customers aren't using the tools. We project that we should see a 60% increase of them using the tools, because it'll be broken down and explained to them so they can actually know how to use it and see the value of it.
All right, well, that would be the plan, so thank you guys, and that'll be it.
We appreciate y'all for listening and implementing this with y'all further. Thank you.